A wonderful good morning to everyone. Bitcoin is back at $74,200, and the next step will be $200,000 because now we're really taking off again. We are heading straight to the moon. We've broken through every single level of resistance, and while the volume is still absolutely atrocious, the market is just nothing but complete bullshit. The market is real bullshit. But yeah, what can you do? You can either just watch this, or you can play a good round. Minesweeper. That's probably how Trump feels right now when he looks at the Strait of Hormuz a bit. But yeah, no idea. There's good news everywhere again. Like I said, Bitcoin at 74K. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Government bonds are going from one high to the next. Everything is fine, right? I'm telling you, I haven't been this overwhelmed by the charts in a long time. By the logic behind all of this. Like I am right now. If you're long, awesome. If you're short, you'll probably be happy sooner or later. But yeah, no idea. Dollar again, or still at 98. It's a really strange market phase, I'm telling you honestly. I'm a bit at a loss myself. But alright, at some point the moment will come when we'll start to go down again. For now, let's take a closer look at everything before we get started. As always, feel free to leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the link for that for free down in the video description. So let's start with the news. Stocks rise, oil falls on optimism for Iran deal. Yesterday, or rather the day before yesterday, I said that between 10 and 4 p.m., Trump will make a post. So that government bonds go down again, causing the oil price to drop. And 5 minutes after 4 p.m., for the delay, but that's when the first news came in that talks are supposed to take place again. And this is exactly the optimism that's once again boosting the markets. Because we didn't have talks on Saturday, which were complete nonsense, just so we can have new talks now because Iran suddenly wants a deal. Which makes absolutely no sense because Iran is blocking the Strait of Hormuz and Trump is blocking the Strait of Hormuz. By now I feel like I'm in some kind of meme show. I should probably start including more memes here instead of chart analyses, because that's kind of what it feels like at the moment. You just feel like you're being messed with. And you still have to stay serious with all this bullshit that's being produced out there. Just like that overnight. You know, what is this? Like I said, between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., I keep saying that some good news has to come from Trump because, well, let's just take a quick look at the government bonds. That was today or yesterday morning, and then the government bonds went down because supposedly a deal is being priced in again, and we're seeing that everywhere again right now. But still, government bonds are still way up, but it's always the same pattern. Same thing if we take a look at oil. Same story around midday. It dropped sharply again after there was renewed hope. There was hope that a deal would be reached. It's really a shit show. Actually, calling it a shit show is really an understatement. Meanwhile, Bitcoin and the markets are just celebrating again because everything is fine. Also in Japan, the 20-year bond issuances are seeing the strongest demand since 2019. At least that's a good thing. But Japan also has to be able to afford that because even there, government bonds are still way too high. So 3.3%. The 30-year bonds are at 3.6%. That's not good. And let's take a quick look at the Eurozone. 3.07%, almost at the highest level since March 27th. That's also not exactly good for the housing market. But who cares? After all, it's bullish. So Bitcoin tomorrow, I would guess, heading towards 100K, and the day after tomorrow will be at a new all-time high. That's how the mood is to be interpreted at the moment, which I don't understand. But well, that's just how it is somehow, and I can't judge it. Bitcoin, as I said, without volume, we're getting a decent amount, that's positive, a decent amount of selling pressure. So 50 million is being sold spot continuously. That's a very good sign. And apparently the spot demand isn't even that bad. Because we're consolidating quite a bit at this level, but we're seeing massive selling for about 12 hours now. For 12 hours, massive spot sell-offs. If we take a look at the order book, or rather the heat map, pretty much everything has been cleared out. 70,000, 65, and 57. Still the same clusters that we still have left. Let's take another quick look at the Munchie timeframe and examine it calmly to see if maybe something has changed there as well, because this is now the short-term time jump. On Manfly, still at 65 and 56, so basically unchanged And last but not least, let's take an even deeper look into the whole thing. We've finally fished out our big cluster here, which has been left over for ages now, you really have to say. The next is 70, 67, and then down to 66, 65. And an interesting point, you can see here, this is the spot. Delta, I'll just call it that, CFD spot, is clearly decreasing, while the futures positions are increasing significantly. So we definitely already have a small divergence here. Volume is going down, spot demand, it's being sold off, and at the same time we see futures demand. That means more and more people are simply going long. To me, that still points further downward, but what do I know? Because in 2 hours we'll have peace in the world again. And so the 200, peace. I think someone should start keeping a tally or something. But yeah, as long as there's peace in the world, Bitcoin will keep pumping, because who cares about the consequences? Who can't afford it? Who can't afford 2 euros and 50 cents for a liter of gasoline? What the fuck? Why should I care? Your poverty, to put it bluntly in German, right? That's probably what a big politician out there would say. No, just kidding. But you have to have a bit of humor. Honestly, I'm a bit at a loss myself, I'll tell you straight, because the way things are going right now, and if we look at the general news situation, nothing has changed, really nothing at all. Bonds are still high. We are possibly on the verge of a recession. Different topic, Trump wants a deal. Then private credit is still an issue. Bonds, all sorts of things. The Strait of Hormuz is still closed. Oil shortage, gas shortage. Send it to 200,000. That's fine by me. 4 buy signals have been triggered. If we go to 200K now, that's fine with me too. Let's look at the time. Time frame lower, 1 hour time frame, pretty much the same game. There's still no volume. We keep getting these spikes. Always whenever there's talk of a deal somehow. Like yesterday, for example. Here, deal, new talks. Everything is fine. And then the whole move goes back again. That's it. Let's take a look at the vectors now. There's still something open everywhere. So we keep moving up towards 200,000. Let's switch over to Ethereum. How does it look there? $2,350. We've now swept the liquidity above this last high for the time being. Volume is terrible, but we should watch how we behave now. If it's back in here now, the liquidity swap happened right at this spot, then it's just a complete scam. Hope, only to end up with another pullback. It would be too funny. Solana. Same game again, range again at the range high, there's no volume. We can keep playing this as long as oil and gas keep getting more expensive. What the fuck? Dollar, significant pullback. What still surprises me a bit, but is good, is that the euro is increasing significantly against the dollar. I can't find an explanation for it. If you have an explanation for it, feel free to write it in the comments below. In my opinion, it doesn't make much sense. Except that in the end, at the moment, if we take a look at the stock markets themselves, we see rising stock markets, although the Dow Jones didn't really gain much yesterday. We were in the red before the market opened, and now we're basically back in our sales zone. The S&P 500, on the other hand, has moved significantly higher, it has to be said. The Nasdaq as well, but the B level is still possible here. We are also here, or rather, yesterday we were, or right now we are exactly within our former range. If you remember, that's where we were stuck for weeks. We were stuck there. Now we're back in that range, or rather, we've slightly taken out the liquidity above it and are heading toward all-time high levels. That means the Nasdaq has, in the last few days since March 30th, so within 2 weeks, already risen by 11% again. Technically speaking, it's still a textbook B that's still in play. I'll only start to get a bit nervous if we move above the 0.786 or 0.886 level here. Then, for me, it's no longer a B. But look, the volume is still the same. It's terrible with the S&P 500, you can see it here yourself, it's not what I want to see. The volatility index is dropping to 120. That gives a bit more confirmation, I have to say at this point. At least it's a positive sign, because by now we're seeing such a sharp pullback that you could really think, theoretically, that it's over. But you also have to say, I'll only start to get a bit more optimistic here if we drop below the 19 mark. The downtrend has now been broken for the time being, but the volume has dropped significantly during this so-called sell-off. To be honest, for me, that's not sustainable. Otherwise, the stock markets are still in positive territory. Nvidia has also managed to turn things around again, I would say, after breaking through the support and moving back up. Circle has bounced solidly out of the buy zone again, so they're running in. Before I forget, for everyone who bought iron, By now the stock is here and it might even go a bit higher, up 33% since the buy zone, which was hit at the golden pocket. If you want, you can take profits. If not, just hold until we get up to about here. That's in the area of around $63. Technically speaking, the ABC was theoretically in play here. Let's see if we go lower here again. In any case, the bulls are still in until the bottom. At 62, I will definitely take out my initial investment. Alright, other than that, there really isn't much to discuss. Take note of it and keep an eye on things. We'll talk again tonight at 7 p.m. in the live stream. Feel free to check it out then as well. The BingX event is still running for 2 days and 17 hours. You can secure benefits via P2. Take advantage of the benefits. Just sign up using the link below in the video description or in the comments section. And you'll also get a small deposit event. That's it from me for now. Thank you for watching. We'll talk again this evening at 7 p.m. Stay safe out there. And yeah, I don't know. Until then, ciao ciao, and as always, stay cool.